Are you a parent of a child struggling with chronic neurological issues like autism and ADHD or sensory processing disorder, anxiety, and epilepsy? Have you been searching for answers and explanations only to be left feeling more frustrated and more hopeless? If you've exhausted all options within the traditional medical system and you've even tried various natural remedies without success, then this video and the absolutely exciting resources that we're going to share with you are made perfect for you and your family. Every single day, we get to sit down with parents who feel like they've been entirely dismissed and ignored by their pediatrician in the traditional medical system, and only to watch their children not simply grow out of the early life challenges and concerns like colic and constipation, chronic ear infections, or missed milestones. Today's parents are more educated and informed than ever. And instead of keeping up and working alongside of parents, it seems that the conventional pediatrician approach is to continue to belittle them and for so many, just kick them out of their practice altogether if they don't get in line and do what they're told, which is ignore all of the signs of chronic illness brewing in kids or just stuff them down with drugs, medications, and surgeries. In this video, and with a brand new incredible podcast, we're about to finally reveal to parents worldwide what's really causing their child's chronic health issues. We're going to help you finally uncover the hidden sequence of stress, physical injury, and exposure to toxins that happens during critical and sensitive periods of development that still continue to be overlooked and dismissed by conventional doctors. We refer to these early stressors that disrupt the development of our gut, the brain, the immune system, and more as the perfect storm. And when parents finally realize that the real root causes of their child's chronic health issues began way earlier than anyone has ever told them and stem from things way beyond simple bad genetics or gluten and dairy sensitivities, they can finally get not just the answers and the explanations that they deserve, but the drug-free solutions and action steps that they need to help their children heal naturally and reach their full potential. So this video is specifically designed for parents who are tired of not only being dismissed by the traditional medical system, but also have already tried every diet change, every detox, every vitamin, supplement, essential oil, and integrative therapy that's out there, but still see their children struggle with their health each and every single day. So let's talk stats. Let's dive into chronic disease in our kids today and the complete and total failure of the U.S. healthcare system. Chronic health challenges affect approximately 27% of kids in the U.S., which is around 22 million kids. ADHD is affecting about 9.4% of kids aged 2 to 17, which suggests that there's approximately 6.1 million kiddos diagnosed. Autism spectrum disorder is at approximately 1 in 36 kids within the US, and it's far higher in boys, and it's projecting to soon be millions of kids diagnosed with autism every single year on repeat for years to come. Anxiety disorders affect approximately 7.1% of children aged 3 to 17 in the US. And it's suggesting that about 4.4 million children, with a massive uptick since 2010 and 2012, when smartphones and social media became absolutely more accessible. The prevalence of learning disorders and the estimates vary, but if we take a conservative estimate of 5%, it suggests that around 3.2 million children are dealing with learning challenges. The research and the estimates suggest that with sensory processing disorder, it affects approximately 5 to 16% of children. And if we take a mid-range estimate of 10%, it suggests that about 6.5 million children struggle with sensory challenges. Asthma affects around 8.3% of kids, suggesting that it's about 4.5 million children. And allergies, things like food allergies and environmental allergies, affects about 8% of kids in the US, which is about 5.2 million kids. The scary one is autoimmune diseases, and the estimates that suggest there are about 3 to 5% of children within the US may have an autoimmune condition. And taking a mid-range estimate of 4%, that's about 2.6 million kids. Parents, I want to share with you the 3 most overlooked perfect storm triggers of chronic illness within our kiddos today. The perfect storm refers to a combination or a sequence of early life stressors that can lead to chronic health issues in our children that are entirely missed and absolutely overlooked, not just by our conventional pediatricians and doctors, but by pretty much every other practitioner out there, even within the natural health and integrative practitioner space. Because they blame toxins almost exclusively and completely miss the role that exposures to both emotional stress and physical trauma during the prenatal period, the birth process, and how those things play in with the development of chronic diseases in kids. It often starts with prenatal stress, which can hardwire and develop a baby's nervous system for stress and anxiety. Because our umbilical cord acts as the electrical power cord, which is transmitting stress hormones from mom to baby. Up next, with birth interventions such as cesareans, forceps, vacuums, inductions, those things can cause physical trauma to delicate upper neck and brain stem areas, leading to neurological dysfunction, neurological dysregulation, and a fancy word that we call within our office as subluxation or neurostructural shifting. And finally, now the overuse of antibiotics and medications and constant bombardment of toxins early and often in a child's life leads to the disruption of the gut microbiome, to the rampant inflammation, and all sorts of additional issues that must be addressed. Parents, you deserve to know the things that we talk about within our offices and that are discussed on the Experience Miracles podcast. On the Experience Miracles podcast, what happens is that we'll take the time to introduce and explain to parents an entire set of wildly important terms and concepts that no other doctor, no other pediatric health expert, no other physician, no other provider are talking about, but are absolutely holding the keys to exactly what you're looking for. Safe, effective, natural, and drug-free healing and care for your child, for your entire family. On every single episode of the Experience Miracles podcast, we're going to break down things like vagus nerve dysfunction, nervous system dysregulation, dysautonomia, subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and a whole heck of a lot more. And then we'll introduce incredible technologies and neurological healing options such as heart rate variability, neurotonal chiropractic adjustments, the insight scanning technology, and a whole heck of a lot more. Within the first 10 to 15 minutes of turning into an Experiencing Miracle podcast, you'll quickly hear that the host and one of my biggest mentors and world-renowned pediatric health expert, Dr. Tony Ebel, was made for this job. Because Dr. Tony can break down the science and the neurology of chronic illness within our kids in a way that no one else can, making it not just simple and easy to understand, but actually entertaining and engaging as well. He addresses chronic health issues and illnesses within our kids and takes on the toughest questions, not just from a doctor and a health expert angle, but as a dad and a parent angle as well. Dr. Tony is a father of 4 kids, including his own perfect storm and miracle son named Oliver. And you'll gain access to a doctor truly called and crafted to help transform your family's entire life. Check out what one mom said about the podcast. She's learned an immense amount from this podcast and looks forward to every single new episode that Dr. Tony releases because he explains complex neurological concepts in a way that's simple and entertaining, but while also helping her to understand and connect the dots and answer questions that no one else has been able to for their kids. Moms and dads, if you're finally ready to get hope, answers, explanations, and drug-free healthcare options that you've long searched for, well, then you've got to hit the link below or head to the link within our bio to immediately subscribe and download the latest episode of the Experience Miracles podcast with one of my biggest mentors, Dr. Tony Ebel. Not only does he dive deep into all things autism, ADHD, anxiety, seizures, sensory issues, for kids, the latest neuroscience around within our vagus nerve, dysautonomia, nervous system dysregulation, but he also brings in the world's top pediatric natural health experts like Dr. Josh Axe for in-depth interviews that will arm you with practical take-home action steps that will transform your family's health without drugs and medications. Do not wait another day to start your child's journey towards optimal health and well-being. Check the link below to be able to subscribe to the Experience Miracles podcast now and take the first step towards transforming your child and your family's life.